2 to 8 Rutland Gate in Knightsbridge, London, is a 62,000 square foot private mansion overlooking Hyde Park. Once owned by Saudi Crown Prince Sultan bin Abdulaziz, it was sold in 2020 for £210 million to Chung Chung Q, with speculation linking it to Hui Ka Yan of Evergrande Group.
Hi, so my name is Anders Fernstedt. I was born in Sweden, 1968. I'm 56 years old, and I moved to America in 1996, and then I moved here first time in 2008, second time 2009, third time 2015. So I lived in Greater London since then, for a while on a boat that I bought on the coast in Essex, and then I came to London, and I had how many? I've been in three flats, and I lost my home in May of 2023, and I've lived here now for almost a year, or maybe it's more than a year.
What drew you to this spot? Was it the building or just chance?
It was, everything is chance in this world. So I had, because it's difficult to make English friends, I made friends starting in September 2021 with the Swans in Hyde Park. This is how close friends we are. Well, I'll fast forward a little. So he gives me a back rub. And soon he's gonna. You'll see. He'll look when he sees the camera. He's gonna come and see it. And then, when I got cold or whatever, it turns out that behind this building is the Orthodox Church. So I started to, I just, went there one day to check it out. And I enjoyed it so much that I became regular to go there. And when I went between Hyde Park and the church, then one day I saw this house, and it was, quiet. And this was clear. So I said, oh, maybe I can sleep here. And then it's just basically me and my sleeping bag and one bag. And then, it's like 1 year later, slowly, one little thing after another. And then, yeah.
Did you know this house was sold for over £250 million? What do you think about that?
I've learned that much later. I didn't know it when I first came. I had no idea. Well, it's almost impossible to fully understand. But then again, I've learned that because it's a private house, most buildings, are not, a private home, right? And maybe that's why I was lucky. I don't know.
What do you imagine this place was like in its prime?
Oh, I think, if I understand it correctly, I think it was high politician, maybe prime minister or something who lived there. And I don't know all the residents. But, once upon a time, this is one of the nicest neighborhoods in London. So, but to me, it's still, I don't know the details. But I have since I came, I know that the neighbors are very nice. All of the ones that have spoken to me have been very nice. And I don't know if I told you before, but I often get either from person who come here and say hello and they give me gifts, clothes, shoes, all kinds of surprises. And sometimes it's anonymous. I come home, like when I came now, I have a nice letter from you. Other times it could be any little thing. And I've also been very lucky. Imagine if you're home and you can't close the door. You know, you never know. And I mean, in a way, a little bit, I'm anxious. When every day I cycle home, what will it be like? But it stays the same. And the only visitors for sure every day is the pigeons. And the fox. At night, after dark, it's the fox.
You've collected some really interesting items. Do any of these hold special meaning for you?
Yes, otherwise I wouldn't take it. But you know, and it's been little by little. But of course, I'm also always afraid if, will it be here when I come home and so on. But everything I have a good memory. Or in a way, I want to have a good memory. And if I want to have a good memory, I have a good memory. So it's a way to, it reminds me of days past, because I spent so much time on, looking. See, one of the reason I came here from America was I went back to school I went to school in Botanic Garden. So I studied as a gardener and as a botanist and horticulturist. And so that's why I have all the flowers.
What's your typical day look like?
Oh, well, because I don't know. See, the thing, I don't know if I'm welcome, and I don't know if it's. So basically, for everybody's peace, I usually get up quite, not too early, and in a way, because I've been unemployed now and I never had benefits. So in a way, every day I'm looking, not that I'm looking for work or anything, but I would say, if I look for anything, it's a surprise friend, and you've had a nice time, or it leads to something else. Who knows? But that's what my days are like.
Do people in the area ever stop to talk to you or help out?
Yes, quite often. Yeah, and they've even said we live in number 39. If you need anything, or if you want anything, or just for whatever reason, come ring the bell. So that's nice.
You're living in one of the most expensive properties in the world. Do you ever think about that contrast?
In a way, because this is so strange to live here. So in a way, I feel like I'm myself again when I was a child. And for a child, it's very exciting to have to sleep out on the balcony. So yes. So I've never had a cold night. And I usually, and that's very important to me, especially when you're a little vulnerable or exposed. If I don't sleep well, if anyone don't sleep well, then it's easy to get sick and this and that. So I always make sure that peaceful heart, peaceful mind, and so on. And that I've maybe in 1 year, maybe 2 or 3 nights. Had there been somebody who was a troublemaker. But at the end, not too big trouble. It was because one was scary. I actually called the police after he left. So it was a man who looked like he has escaped from prison. And I was here, and he lay down, or he asked if he could lay down. And then he moved. He wanted to, put his feet under my umbrella. And I said, "Don't abuse my hospitality." And then he said, he got angry, and he took my umbrella and he twisted it, and he threw it to the street. And when I went to get it, he tried to look for my bag with valuables. So I had to raise my voice and sound really angry, and then he didn't like the noise, so then he walked away.
Some might say you're free in a way that even the richest people aren't. What does freedom mean to you?
Freedom? What does freedom mean? oh, what does freedom mean? Oh, see, in a way, in a strange way, that's what I've got. Because ever since the lockdowns and all of that, we all have to worry about, how do we pay rent, and so on. So I think my worries are a little different, but because I live like this, freedom is the gift. As long as we're free, and if we feel not free in the mind, there's nothing we can do to feel freer. But I in that way I've been lucky, because so far it gives me. I spend my life now, and given that so much, I'm in nature, and if the animals feel that he's not a danger to us, and of course usually it's easy. You know how it is with us people now. We rarely talk to strangers, but if there's something, maybe it's this, it gives a reason to talk, or so. The greatest freedom is to what do we call it? It's not it's not friendship if it's a stranger, but it's that moment, like you and I now, we meet, we have a conversation, but we met 3-4 times before, and we just had nice conversations, and that's why we agreed to sit and talk a little more.
What brought you to this point in your life?
Well, maybe I should ask who. And I don't know. I was once a journalist, and for me to be a journalist came with a great embarrassment to not done my homework and to be wrong. And I worked. The last work I had was for 1 year. I worked with journalists, and I was a fact checker in 2015-16. And I thought that that one thing will lead to the other, and that I would, that even if I was freelance, you'd get the commission. But everything goes through friendship, and English people, they don't dare to trust somebody who's not of their who they don't know already. So that's one part of the reason, and another part of the reason, and this is the difficult truth. It's the last home I had. My neighbor was a criminal, and they broke into my flat, and the next morning I found a pistol, and I took the pistol to the police, and the police said, "Oh, now you're in trouble, because no matter how you got it, you can't have a gun. But I'm going to be nice to you. I'm going to take the pistol, and now you can go home and deal with the pistol's owner." So I had after that almost a year where the police wouldn't come and the landlord wouldn't come, and then I was evicted. And after that, yeah, it's a strange story. It's not that it's difficult. Well, of course it's difficult, but I've learned to live with it. But it makes that answer very difficult to give, because it's an answer I don't understand. Because obviously, by definition, if one person didn't want me to live on the street, I wouldn't. So I haven't said no, but I haven't felt any urgency to change. Now after I found this, okay, this is my home until somebody tells me it can't be. And I'm very surprised. I don't know, what is happy? Maybe I'm happy, but I know I'm not unhappy.
Do you see yourself as part of the city's history? In a way, this is your home too.
Now a little bit, because because when you came the first time, nobody had come and had been talking to a camera. But in the past, 2 weeks, it's now been 3 times, and two is big London newspapers. So I can't escape being part of history of London now and of this building.
Do you ever think about the people who will move into this place? What would you say to them?
Oh, I think I would say this house has treated me very well, and even better have I been treated by the neighbors. So whoever moves in should feel very lucky.
If you could live anywhere, would you want to, or are you happy here?
I'm very happy now, but I know the day will come when there'll be a new chapter for me. But today, when you ask, I have no idea where that will be. It could be this country, it could be this town, it could be a different country altogether. But this has prepared me to find wherever I live for what it is. Rather than, a lot of people, they chase something else, their own history or their own future. But it's been very nice to be here right now for over a year.
What's something people don't understand about people in your situation?
I still don't understand my situation, right, in a way. And although I'm now, because I go to a lot of lunches and these meals for homeless and so on, so I've gotten to know other people who for whatever reason are homeless. But all I know is that no two are the same or alike.
If you had one message to share with the world, what would it be?
It would be that's a difficult question. But I think when the world is the way it is to not live in fear, and strangers are very rarely things are as bad as we fear them to be. And I've been lucky that I haven't been allowed. I didn't allow myself to worry if there wasn't a reason. If there's a reason to act. And if we do that, if we don't get trapped by ourselves, I'm sure nobody else will trap us.